in whatever part of the world you're watching this video. What you're looking at is a map of the world showing wind and sea currents. It's very simple to understand. If I go on anywhere, I can see where the currents of the world are going. Why am I showing you this? Well, I thought I'd jump on the bandwagon as regards to Fukushima. Now, it's interesting to note that this here is Japan. Why is it interesting to note? Well, Fukushima is just here at the apex of the wind currents, interestingly enough. Now, currently there are reports, I'll go to the picture, that Fukushima is currently, and this is unconfirmed, of spewing out 530 sieverts an hour of radioactivity. Now, on this site, the Nuclear Energy Tracking Center, netc.com, that's netc.com, I have found it to be the most reliable source for advising about nuclear fallout. It also has an information bar on the top, which, if you let it go through and you watch it, there's actually one where it says that it's 5,000 sieverts an hour. Folks, what I'm trying to do here is actually make you guys aware of a couple of things here. So let's start at the beginning, okay? Because I want to take this one step further, where other people have sort of advised people of this, but they didn't seem to actually go through the whole process. So let's start at the beginning. The Fukushima nuclear disaster was originated from the 11th of March tsunami, 2011. So it's 7 years, nearly to the day that it started. So let me say that again. The actual fallout from Fukushima nuclear fallout started on the 11th of March 2011. And of course, today is the 11th of February 2017. So all those years since then, it has been spewing out radiation, not from one nuclear reactor, but from 4 nuclear reactors. And listen, there's 6 there. For all we know, all 6 are gone, because as you know, there's a massive cover-up. So ever since that day, Japan has, or the radioactive fallout from Japan has been spewing into the air and into the atmosphere, and also spewing into the ocean. It's currently predicted that there's 300 tons per, I'm going to repeat that, 300 tons per hour of radioactive water going into the sea from Fukushima. Did you understand what I just said? 300 tons per hour of radioactive water going into the sea, since they started pumping water on it exactly 4 days after the nuclear reaction in 2011. So all these years later, you've had 300 tons per day being spewed into the ocean, per hour, per day. I'm not great at maths, but if you want to sit on a calculator and do it, that basically ends up being unimaginable levels of contamination. unimaginable. So all these years, and people need to get their head around this fallout is not important now because you've actually been, if you're in the west coast of the United States, you've been eating and digesting this stuff now since 2011. It's now 2017. I'll say that again. You have now been digesting nuclear fallout isotopes since 2011. It's now 2017. Now, this is where it gets interesting. And this is where I'm hoping that people will like and share this video to as many people as you can. So let's go back to this. So since that day, Fukushima is just here, okay, in the peak of the trough. Couldn't have happened in a worse spot, to be honest. Now, the wind patterns obviously go up, through, bang, and they end up here first. They end up on this chain of islands, which is owned by Russia and the United States. And they get to Alaska, and they come down the west coast of America. Interestingly, they go back and go up this way. Now, as you all know, or should know, the two currents of the Pacific don't really intermingle, although because you've got the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. That's to keep the buoyancy of the Earth correct, if you know what I mean. That's pretty simple to understand. But that doesn't mean that the fallout, nuclear fallout, doesn't go down to this area here. Now, this is important. Migration of fish would usually occur in this area here. They don't usually. Schools of fish stay in their local areas. If you're a fisherman, you know all about that. But what does not stay in their area are predatory feeders like whales, sharks, dolphins. So whales and sharks and dolphins easily cross these boundaries. That's not to say fish don't swim across here. Of course they do. That's nonsensical to say so. But whales, fish, and dolphin deeply go into these areas. Now, every single one that does and eats even one fish from that side and brings it back down to this side has automatically polluted the water. Automatically. Why am I telling you that? Well, let's go to more maps. Now, I don't know where this map came from. It's a nuclear fallout map. You go on, if I go back on the page here, you'll see hundreds of pictures. I just picked this one. Now, there's one thing to note on this picture. It's been told, it's got false, that this is a false map. But I find it probably easy to understand in the other one, so I'm using it for that reason. Whether it's right or wrong, I don't know. But you can get the picture, so to speak. Okay, so nuclear fallout. Since 2011, it is now 2017, has been spewing out into the air and into the ocean from that day. From that day. Now, do you notice the wind currents or the sea currents? They go down here, out the back of the Pacific, follow through, go back up, come back around, go back down. So it virtually doesn't cross the northern hemisphere line of the equator. So this coast of Australia, although it looks relatively nuclear free, it is not, because, like I said, whales migrate, sharks, fish, you know, they only got to eat one fish and bring it back down here. It's all irradiated. Okay, so let's go to the next picture. I find this picture staggering. The reason I find this picture staggering is because it's released by the NOAA, which is American government-based people. It's also actually extremely correct in the regards of the currents. But I would say that the one bit they're not correct about is the equator goes through this line here, excuse me, and the water currents would not specifically go as it's shown here. This here would actually be spewing out here now, would be massively corrupted here. I would probably say this hasn't been updated for many, many months or years, specifically because they don't want to panic everybody. And obviously, you notice how I think this is amazing. If you look at this and the wind currents and the ocean currents, because ocean currents obviously follow wind currents, there is no way that that can be like that. That there, folks, should be going up there, and from here, see how it's curling down and it's all going to Chile? Well, that's bullshit, because that's all going up this way into North America. So this picture is actually wrong. Whoever said that this picture was wrong is actually, I would probably suggest, has come out from a government official trying to tell you that this is the right one. This is not right. This can't be right, because if this was right, this would be wrong. Does that make sense? I'm telling you this because you need to understand what is actually happening to your life at the moment if you're in the Northern Hemisphere. Now, this is the map of Japan that shows the fallout zone of Fukushima. Tokyo is less than 200 k's from Fukushima. The only thing that's probably saved Tokyo so far, and it's not saved it, don't get me wrong, it's impossible to save it. So you're looking at this whole area here, which is 300 kilometers round diameter, is irradiated, massively irradiated. Remember, the wind cycle of Fukushima comes across the Northern Hemisphere, blows through, or goes through China, Russia, and then blows through Fukushima, and then blows into the north of America. It is physically impossible, just about, for that to blow down into, like that says on this map. It's physically impossible for it to do that. It'll get there, but it's not going to do it straight away. In actual fact, if you curl all that around, back up this way to Alaska and Canada, and then down the west coast of America, that would be more precise. This map is absolute baloney, as the Americans would say. So, this has been spewing out now since 2011, March 11th, 2011. We're almost at the anniversary, folks. If you are living in this area here, or especially this area here, you are now being pounded, absolutely pounded, with radiation. Also interesting to note that all the fishing on the west coast of America is recently been designated a disaster relief. Now, I'm going to show you share with you a video from BP Earthwatch. I'm just going to show you, I'm not going to play it. The title is New Video, Fukushima. 160 tons of melted fuel rods escape containment vessel. Now, this is an extremely, extremely well-documented video. And I would suggest, if you haven't seen it, to actually watch it. He's put together a really good video as regards to what's happening, and also to the obvious fact that the west coast of America is actually experiencing financial calamity in the fishing, and it's been recorded as a disaster. the actual numbers of fishing that is declined is staggering, absolutely staggering. It's so bad you can't even believe it. So let's get back to the original issue here. If you are currently living, and I'm going to say this where other people haven't, if you're currently living on the west coast of Australia, America, and I'm going to take this even further, if you're currently living on this in America and Canada, you are currently being irradiated. There's no two ways about it. You are currently slowly being irradiated to death because of this. You can't escape it. It's impossible. And it's probably more important at the moment that you concentrate on this and you start bringing it to people's attention, because this is a fact. Irreversible fact. Fact number one. Now, quickly let's go through these on the top of here. These guys have got a really good network of stuff up here on the scroll bar. Now, folks, if you click on any of these scroll bar information, you'll find that there's a couple there that are just mind-blowing. There's one there that says Fukishima is spewing out 5,000 sieverts an hour. Now, if 500 is the equivalent of 10 Hiroshima nuclear bombs per hour, right? How much is 5,000? Look, at the end of the day, what I'm trying to get to is, folks, is if you're living here, you're being severely lied to, and you are ingesting isotopes. And I would probably suggest that everyone around the world is currently ingesting isotopes, and you need to protect yourself. If you're working in the airline industry, for example, if planes are flying into this and through this and going to Tokyo, those planes are now irradiated. Even the people in the planes are irradiated. If you've been to Japan recently, there's a very high probability that you are now irradiated. Sounds bizarre, doesn't it? But it's actually true. There's no possibly way you could not be if it was 530 sieverts an hour. The fallout would be extreme. Now, I'm going to play this video for you, which is a quick video. It's from CNN, it's from TEPCO, and this shows you exactly what's wrong. This robot, right, that they designed to do this lasted an hour and a half before it got fried by the radiation. An hour and a half. So remember, 10, anything above 5 is lethal. 10 is instant death. That's sieverts. So I've researched, okay? Maybe wrong. I'm not a nuclear scientist, but that's what I've researched. So imagine 530. It absolutely melted this thing. Well, okay, folks, you get the picture. But as I said, watch this video from BP Earthwatch. You'll get the idea. If you're not understanding all this, then I'm afraid that you're diluted. He did a good job on this video. Now, there's a section of this plant that is actually melted completely through. The actual grating underneath the main containment area of the nuclear reactor has melted through. It melted through it. So it's actually melting through the ground at the moment. I'll say that again. The nuclear reactor has gone nuclear and is actually melting through the ground, through the earth, and they can't stop it. Shocking, isn't it? So, as I said, if you're living in America, you need to be extremely aware of what's going on and pay attention. And you need to start banging on doors and telling people in America, and you need to get your politicians in line, because this is dead set serious, folks. This is now turning into an extinction level event for everyone. I'm somewhat lucky because I live here on this coast. I would also say that if you're in New Zealand, in Auckland, etc., then there's a high probability that a lot of this radiation is actually coming down to New Zealand, as much as it's secondary to what's coming up here because of the wind, the flows of the currents. So, folks, it's a heads up. Please share this video with every single person you can think of, because this is not a game. And if this 530 sieverts or 5,000 sieverts is absolutely 100% correct, and remember, we don't know anything more than 530 because that was officially brought out by TEPCO. So remember, look ahead, folks. Keep your eyes and ears open. Based on all that, folks, I think it's vitally important that we say a prayer for each other at this point in time in the world, because, guys, we've never needed prayer, doesn't matter what sort of prayer it is, than what's being advised to us over this last week by TEPCO is an extinction level event. So let's say the Lord's Prayer. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us, Lord, from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. God bless, folks. G'day everyone, Prep Aussie here. I hope you're all well in whatever part of the world you're watching this video. What you're looking at is a map of the world showing wind and sea currents. It's very simple to understand. If I go on anywhere, I can see where the currents of the world are going. Why am I showing you this? Well, I thought I'd jump on the bandwagon as regards to Fukishima. Now, it's interesting to note that this here is Japan. Why is it interesting to note? Well, Fukishima is just here at the apex of the wind currents, interestingly enough. Now, currently there are reports, I'll go to the picture, that Fukushima is currently, and this is unconfirmed, of spewing out 530 sieverts an hour of radioactivity. Now, on this site, the Nuclear Energy Tracking Center, netc.com, that's netc.com, I have found it to be the most reliable source for advising about nuclear fallout. It also has an information bar on the top, which, if you let it go through and you watch it, there's actually one where it says that it's 5,000 sieverts an hour. Folks, what I'm trying to do here is actually make you guys aware of a couple of things here. So let's start at the beginning, okay? Because I want to take this one step further, where other people have sort of advised people of this, but they didn't seem to actually go through the whole process. So let's start at the beginning. The Fukushima nuclear disaster was originated from the 11th of March tsunami, 2011. So it's 7 years, nearly to the day, that it started. So let me say that again. The actual fallout from Fukushima nuclear fallout started on the 11th of March 2011. And of course, today is the 11th of February 2017. So all those years since then